3D Snowman Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be making this cute little classic snowman design, and currently where I live in Wisconsin we have so much snow. We had a blizzard last weekend where, they canceled everything. They told you not to leave your houses, and so I had a Christmas party to go to. I had two Christmas parties to go to and just stayed at home, which was really sad. I was looking forward to them, but what can you do? And we had so much snow. We got about 10 inches in a very short amount of time overnight. That's a lot. And our temperature right now is about -27 with the wind chill, which is very cold. So I'm just trying to stay inside and make my snowman in acrylic instead of out in the wilderness. So I hope you like this, guys, as much as I do, and don't forget to click subscribe to see my future videos as well. So I began with a layer of a medium blue acrylic, and the reason I'm using a medium to a dark blue instead of a bright blue or a light blue is because I knew my snowman was going to be white. He's not brown snow, although he could be, so people that don't live with snow, if you don't know snow, yes, it is pretty the first night. It is pretty for about 10 hours. After that point, all the cars driving through it and people tromping through and everything happening, snow is not white anymore. It is brown and yucky and slushy and horrible. I obviously am not a snow person. There are so many people that love it for skiing and snowboarding and stuff. That's not me. I'm not an outdoorsman, so I don't know. I'm not such a big snow person, but I knew my snowman was going to be white. And so I knew I wanted him to contrast very well with the background. So I made that a little bit darker, as I just got so sidetracked in my conversation with the YouTube world in my whole thing there. Yeah. You should hear, okay, so I'll be doing something and I'll just start randomly talking to myself about something totally not relevant to the situation, and my nephew, who's 22, he'll just look at me and he'll shake his head and be like, "You're talking to yourself again." I know. See, when I do the voiceovers, I'm basically talking to myself. I am talking to everyone out there, but it feels kind of like I'm talking to myself, so I'm used to it, and I just talk to myself all the time, and I get weird looks. I'm about 1 foot away from being completely crazy. It's all good. Being crazy is fun. So then I filed the nail. I also applied a layer of clear acrylic over the top of it just to give it some strength, and then, like I said, I filed it. So now I'm cutting off about 1 inch or so of some black thread. I would have used brown, but I don't have any brown thread, and so I used black instead. It works, but brown would probably be ideal, just because if he has stick arms, then I'd go with the black route. Or brown route, yeah. So then I'm going to be sculpting his segments. So the first one is going to be his head, and then below that I'm going to put just a little bit of white acrylic down and then lay that piece of thread across it just to hold that in place, and then add another larger bead over the top of the thread. So for a snowman, his head is the smallest, and then there's going to be 3 circles, each one there's 2 circles coming after that, and each one's going to be just a little bit bigger than the one before it. And so you want to make sure you kind of plan that out as you're making your nail so that you have enough room. And you also want to leave a little bit of space above his head for his hat. Now, you wouldn't have to give him a hat, that's totally optional. I knew I wanted to give mine a hat, so I left some space. So then I'm adding his last circle, so it's like his head, and then from about his shoulders to his hips, and then his what would be legs area down. Making sure that those are definitely defined and fixing up the line between the last 2, patting them out a little bit, making sure they're all pretty. So then on a nail form backing, I'm going to be sculpting out his scarf. So I put down a little bit of green, and then I'm going to be forming that into an L shape. It's kind of a sideways L or an upside down L. But the one section of the L is going to be the part that goes around his neck, and the other part is going to be the one that just sort of hangs down. So in the part that hangs down on the end of it, I'm going to just take my brush and separate that out into a little bit of a fringe. So just make a couple little lines in there to fan it out just a pinch, just like that. I did 3 little lines. So it's 2 cuts through the acrylic to make 3 segments. And then once that is set enough that I can pick it up, I'm going to gently pick that up with a silicone tool. And then it's kind of sticky a little bit. I'm going to set that on the nail. And then once again, using that silicone tool, I'm going to press that into place so that it's nice and adhered and it's not going to fall off on me. And then I'm going to just sort of make sure everything is tucked down and not sticking up. And then I'm going to be adding the other section of the scarf. So this one is not going to be an L shape, just a line. So I'm going to sculpt that into a line, and then on one end of it, make that little fringe again. And with these scarf pieces, I am going to make sure that all of them are really padded down and stuck down so they're not sticking up, because I want these designs to be wearable, just like with the snowflake design, both very, very wearable, which is kind of unique for me, something different, making things easy to get along with in your own life. The weird thing about this guy, if you look at him thinking, okay, he's got these huge stick arms sticking out the sides of his head, because they are just thread, they're not really going to bother you when you're doing things. I know my biggest issue with having 3D on, because I do on occasion, even on my natural nails, like I know right now I've got bows on. If you want to see that tutorial, I can put a link to that in the description box. The reason they're driving me absolutely crazy right now is because I braid my hair a lot, and when I braid my hair, they get caught. Whereas these little bits of thread are not going to get caught and things like that. Or like when I'm washing my hair, same thing, the bows get caught. It drives me crazy. But in this situation, that won't happen because it's a little thread that's just going to get out of the way. So then I'm going to be making his hat with a really dark red color. So I'm just going to put 2 little beads down and sort of stick them into a nice rounded shape. It's sort of a, I don't know, a D on its side shape there. Bring it to a slight point at the top of his head, just looks like his hat sticking up, and then I'm going to touch up the edge of that a little bit, but I'm also going to be adding a trim with the same green, which is what I'm doing now. I'm just going to add that little trim line going around the edge of the hat, and then also at the top of the hat in a little ball, and it's the same green that is for his scarf, just to make sure it matches. I just got this green right before I started doing all these Christmas designs, or this one isn't Christmas, but holiday designs, and I am in love with this green acrylic. It is such a nice consistency, and it is, the color is perfect for the holiday season, and so I've been using it quite a bit recently, so I'm really liking it. And I will put what that is in the description box as well. If you're looking for it and I forget, just post a comment, because I know me and I sometimes forget to do that, but I will get that for you. I'm pretty sure it's Young Nails, which I think, because I've been buying up all kinds of Young Nails because it's going on clearance, because Cosmoprof is no longer carrying it. So they're clearancing it out. So if you have a Cosmoprof near you and you are looking for some art acrylic, definitely check that out, because they're on sale right now for quite a bit off if you want to stock up, which is what I've been doing. So anyways, then I also sculpted his orange nose with acrylic, so I put down a tiny wet bead and then pulled it to the side to create that nice carroty point. And then with red acrylic, I'm going to be adding some stripes on his scarf, and then I'm going to, with black, outline his scarf just a little bit to define the sections of that to make sure it's really easy to see. And then add some polka dots for his little buttons of coal down his chest. And then add his eyes with black as well, and then a little polka dot smile. So for a smile, you want to put a whole bunch of polka dots, but they're really close together, so it looks more like a line than polka dots, but it's still little dots. And then with red again, I'm going to go through and I'm going to add a couple little stripes on his hat with red. It's a lighter shade of red, so it's almost highlighting it, gives it a slight, almost knit appearance. And I also put little highlights along his 3 original white circles, just to make them a little bit more vivid on one side, and make it look like there is light hitting them and reflecting. And then I'm going to cut off his arms, make sure they're the right length. That sounded kind of violent, cut off his arms. Oh, that sounds mean. Poor Snowman. And then apply a layer of gel sealer to the background and make sure that's all nice and shiny. If you wanted to, you could take some either white acrylic paint or gel paint and just add a couple little polka dots in the background to make it look like it's still snowing. But I kind of like the clean background. He looks very, very clean, very simple, I don't know, classic. And after I cured that, I'm going to take and apply matte top coat over the top of my snowman. I am avoiding his thread arms, though. I'm just going to leave those as they are. I don't want them to get kind of crispy, which would happen if you put any sort of top coat on them. And that is it. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to check out the snowflake design. That is super easy, and I will put a link to that in the description box below. And don't forget to share recreations with me on Facebook and Instagram. I'd love to see them, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!